Hi, and welcome to Anime with Annie. In this video today, I'll be reviewing this Sailor Moon anime series overall. But before we get into it, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from us. Let's get started. With everything I've heard about the changes and limitations of the original dub, my interest in revisiting Sailor Moon has grown. As a part of the morning animation block for the Big Three, the original Big Three of Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon, I had seen a fair number of sporadic episodes. I attempted to watch the original Japanese version a few years back, but I was only able to watch 2 or 3 episodes before I had to quit. It felt unpleasant since the performance was poor and the audio quality was tiny. In particular, Yusagi grates my eardrums like cheese. That seemed to be it, with an unpleasant original track and a censored dub. Viz Media intervened, seized the English rights to the franchise, and redubbed everything with higher quality sound effects, including the films. This is a respectable comeback when the visuals are also remastered. Sailor Moon received the Funimation One Piece treatment from Viz, which I'm sure will please fans. I watched around a season's worth of episodes of the old dub to provide a baseline for the remaster, before diving into the remaster. Yep, it was still horrible. I'll start by discussing the previous version. The premise, please. I forget that someone will be unaware of a series regardless of how well done it is. The story of Sailor Moon centers on clingy middle schooler Yusagi, referred to as Serena in the original dub, who gains the ability to change into the show's magical heroine. The intelligent Ami is Sailor Mercury, the well-like Minako is Sailor Venus, the obedient Rai is Sailor Mars, and the powerful Makoto is Sailor Jupiter soon join her in her battle against evil creatures. Additional guardians join in subsequent seasons. The girls are led on their quest by 2 cats, Artemis and Luna. For seasons of markability, all the females and several villains have changed names in the old dub, but they are typically close to the original. You wouldn't detect many errors if you watched the previous dub blindly without knowing it had been edited. Unlike in One Piece, where it is crystal clear that the pirate is holding a pistol to someone's head, this isn't whatever that is. The majority of the Sailor Moon alterations are in the dialogue, making them simple to blend in. However, changing the name of steamed dumplings to donuts was a stretch. When a male crossdresser already resembles a woman, it only takes a few minor word changes to claim that the person was always a woman. The Sailor's Uranus and Neptune connection, which was transformed from a lesbian pair to cousins, is the most notorious modification. Everyone has heard about this adjustment, so I was especially interested in seeing what all the commotion was about when I saw the remaster. How disappointing. Most children wouldn't even know that they were a couple, because how mild this relationship is. Critics overreacted about nothing, not to mention they're among the series' less fascinating characters. The only aspect of the old dub that I enjoyed was how it made Luna into a domineering older woman who resembled a British governess. This made me think of Professor McGonagall, which is always a beneficial move. Unfortunately, it cannot remain because it is not faithful to the original work. Let's start working on the new, enough with the old. A Villain of the Week format is used in 95% of Sailor Moon's 200 episodes. Every one of the henchmen draws on a vice, subject, or pastime that is frequently connected to girls. They appear on Earth like Rita's cronies from Power Rangers. Making the topics pertinent to the intended shoujo audience was a fantastic idea. The shoujo audience, like Yusagi and her companions, are interested in jewelry, dating, friendships, exams, reluctantly, dancing, clothing, marriage, fitness, and other topics. Additionally, take note of how they provide the characters with hobbies and interests appropriate for girls a few older than 14 to give them a more mature appearance. This appears to a girl's desire to research one age group. Typically, a villain's plan includes corrupting a person's positive traits and using them against the females. For instance, a tennis student may become overly competitive in a destructive way. Instead of calling some monster to battle in each episode, this is a nice approach to take. It seems more timely. This is dropped in Sailor Moon R until subsequent seasons, when the variations are reinstated. The main antagonist of Sailor Moon is amusing. The mad scientist is over the top, but also needs to perform daily tasks like shopping, while maintaining his identity. That took longer than I expected, to be exact. Nowadays, it's very difficult to locate a tasty gluten-free snack. One early scheme entails stealing people's love, a bizarre human idea, by hosting a late-night radio show where ladies submit secret confession of love letters in exchange for a corsage that depletes the wearer's strength and love. It's so corny to have some evil, attractive villain read a lewd letter aloud. It is charming, nostalgic in a way. This format can only take you so far, and I can assure you that it loses its appeal well before episode 46 of the first season. A large portion of season 1 follows a similar pattern. Introduce a theme, escalate, have girls transform, have Yusagi throw a tiara, and win. Oh, and don't forget the pointless Tuxedo Mask. who shows up and offers some trade advice before leaving. It's too realistic to be a meme to say, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything. What has changed in Season 2? The Guardians do get a brand new assault each, which they will use immediately upon their transformation in every episode. Repeated animation scenes such as transformations, catchphrases, and special attacks take up many minutes of each episode. We lose more time to these animated scenes as more Guardians appear in the series. Sure, the animation is nice, but it keeps repeating the same thing. Only in the first and last couple episodes of each season, in which the entire plot takes place, does Sailor Moon stray from the formula. Sailor Stars, the last season, does have a little bit more going on than the prior seasons. Very little more. The finales are generally the same, which is something to keep in mind. The globe will be covered in a catastrophic phenomena. Example, wherever the girls dwell. And all appears to be lost until Sailor Moon utilizes a super technique to undo the consequences. Sailor Moon plays a game of repetition. While new guardians and villains may be introduced with each season, recycling levels on the show are higher than anything an environmentalist could hope to achieve. So would I suggest Sailor Moon? By today's standard, it is out of date in many aspects. Of course, there's animation and formula, but there's also power progression, in which one is given new powers without having to work for them, and character work. Consider the bond between Yusagi and Mamoru, Tuxedo Mask. In spite of this romance lasting virtually the whole 200-episode length, nothing happens. Only because the myth tells us that they are predestined to be together does the relationship exist. Apart from the creepy age difference, excused by the whole Destiny lark, Yusagi is nothing to recommend her to this guy. He is the temperament of dead wood in the meantime. I had hoped that Yusagi would develop after meeting Chibuya, her time-traveling future daughter, and that she would become more responsible after she realized she possessed infant-like maturity. Unfortunately, this would stray too far from the recipe. The majority of viewers would anticipate more complexity from the rest of the Guardians. They are at least superior to the typical high school anime cast that can be found today. Since she balances humor and seriousness the best, contributes without overshadowing others, is smarter than Yusagi, and I appreciate her personality, Sailor Jupiter is my favorite of the group. They don't have any negative traits. The rigorous structure of each episode, however, prevents us from ever getting a full understanding of these characters, since the villain of the week must appear at this point. Everyone must undergo transformation at that time, and everything must return to normal before the credits begin to roll. When seen as a girls' anime intended for one episode each morning, the original Sailor Moon is best appreciated in its original setting. There, the repetitiveness wouldn't feel quite so horrible. To watch it right now in a binge style, zero chance. The only thing that will draw viewers into these 200 episodes is strong nostalgia. And that concludes my review of Sailor Moon. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, Anime with Annie, for more such exciting anime content and reviews. And please leave comments about what you thought of today's video. And remember, have an Annie-mazing day.